Sonic Underground episode 37, Barnelby the Prisoner. What, for one episode? The narrator says no one is safe from Robotnik's grasp. And we did see Barnelby get threatened with roboticization earlier. Because of the narration and the episode title, I already knew that Barnelby would get in danger. A robot threatens him with a bazooka, charging him with being a traitor out of nowhere, and sets it up to the jury and takes him away. Why would there be a jury? Why would Robotnik waste time with that? Are the jury all brainwashed? Sonya brings Manic to a pretty meadow that's supposedly where the ruby mine is, and they see a drill show up from below the ground that gives them a hole. And the super pure rubies are very powerful when used for weaponry, as opposed to jewelry, which I'm sure is all rubies are good for. I mean, I know diamonds are used for equipment, like dentist material or something. What about rubies? Sonic falls down with a rope tied around him, and he tells his siblings to climb down. Sonic puts on a helmet for apparently no reason, and runs around to analyze the perimeter, where he sees robots. Sonya looks at the camera footage from Sonic's helmet to see what he saw, which includes gems that she loves the sight of. She says these are ultra high-grade rubies just by looking at them. But when she says it's worse than they thought, she was smiling. Manic naturally doesn't see the big deal in Robotnik getting lasers since he always has them. It turns out that his new lasers break through solid titanium. And Sonic says that with these he could wipe out the resistance. But he's used plenty of lasers before, and they always miss. Cyrus shows the heroes a vehicle, and the door closes before he can tell them stuff. Sonic presses a button before he can say they can't touch anything in it, and he tells Sonic to turn on the viewer to watch where he's going. He found him the laser drill, and he's told to press the blue button when he sees a robot. Sonic looks so unreliable there, pressing a button before he can be told not to. And Cyrus was the straight man in response to him. Barnelby is dragged into a kangaroo court. Why would Robotnik waste his time even pretending that there's a fair trial? Why would he dress up like a judge with an embarrassing hairstyle? He even lampshades his lack of an attorney, and it's totally unfair that his so-called attorney is Dingo. Sonya says that first they'll get a giant ruby and knock out mine chips and amplify laser powers to knock out the rest of the ship, and then they'll seal off the mine from Robotnik forever rather than destroying it like they did the previous mine. Why can't Robotnik go find the mine again? Then Sonya sees TV footage of Barnelby's trial. Sleet says that Barnelby was accused of helping the resistance, and for some reason Sonya says they're punishing him because of her. What did he do exactly? I don't get it. He didn't do anything in the show is so episodic and negative continuity. If he's being punished for stuff that he did to help the resistance in earlier episodes, why is it that just now there's continuity? Why is he gonna be roboticized? We should be told about that. Robotnik's trial is only here to buy Barnelby time. Since when does he do this instead of instantly bringing people to the roboticizer? Sonya shows up to Barnelby wearing a cloak, and he warns her about the guards. He tells her compassionately that he can't let her get captured because of him. He asks her if she's honestly happy being in the resistance, and she doesn't really say that he's wrong. It turns out Barnelby is innocent, and Robotnik says he knows he is, but he's using him as bait for his trap. Dingo has turned into an animal, which for no reason runs into a wall that he can clearly see ahead of him. It's not explained that he's blind in this form. He's turned back into an attorney, which runs into a wall just for the sake of comedy relief that makes no sense. Sonic assumes that Sonya went to help Barnelby. Surprisingly, she came back already, having left him in the cell. I guess he doesn't want to join the resistance, but shouldn't he have no hopes of his life getting better? He's being accused in a kangaroo court, and he's in jail. Dingo tells Barnelby that he's getting off anyway, but him even being the star of the trial TV show would ruin his reputation among the rich people, wouldn't it? Then Dingo tells him that this is all a trap for Sonya and her brothers, having not been told to not tell him about it, so I can kind of forgive his mistake. We see lasers hit a floating device and some airships that shoot lasers fly after the hero's airship, which keeps shooting at lasers thanks to Manic. Sonya is in the back seat holding a map she somehow got. I really wish we saw the heroes getting their materials before their missions. Sonic is watching TV through the camera helmet because apparently that's something that he can do, and Sonya always trusts him not to do that during missions. Barnelby changes his plea to guilty, which confuses the hell out of me. And Sonya orders some lasers to be fired, destroying the rest of the floating things. Cyrus tells them to split up from the red plane he's apparently in, and oh, it's Trevor, never mind. Trevor's plane gets hit and he's sent to the ground because he's not allowed to be useful. The minute gets an emergency rescue signal. Sonya says the escape pod, and Trevor asks if they're going to leave him here all night. He's trapped in an airship in the pond, and Sonic complains about the water before bungee jumping all the way to him. I feel like that sudden stop should still hurt him. He doesn't slow down for a long period of time before stopping. And do whirlwinds to get them flying back to the vehicle. The heroes leave the vehicle, and Sonya appreciates the ruby, saying it's just her size. She's like Rouge, but a main hero. She blasts some lasers around with her keyboard as cool music plays, and when the ceiling starts collapsing, the heroes have enough time to get into their vehicle, and it gets sent out of the ground by a brown geyser. I guess what Trevor did to help them all that time was fly the plane and shoot lasers, so good, he was useful. He's a pilot. Sonya then takes off with their vehicle, and Sonic says she's walking right into a trap. Alone. I'm really glad they didn't play a song when they were in that mine. It would have lessened the impact of their victory because I'd skip past it. Sonic spin dashes into the jury room. He realizes that Sonya's not here. Why is he so surprised that she's slower than him and can't get here first? He must be really used to being fast. He runs around Dingo to throw him upwards, and Manic presses buttons in the back of the robot's derriers to make them fall off. How? Why would it be so easy for anybody to do that? Shouldn't he at least have a screwdriver? Then Sonya summons her keyboard, and Robotnik makes his chair move upwards. They play a bad song, destroying all of the robots with lasers, and escape with Barnelby through a hole in the wall. Then Robotnik proclaims Barnelby innocent, even though he ran from his trial, and he hopes that Barnelby will keep funding him. Barnelby says that protecting the planet is more important than his rich people problems, just because he got put on trial. But he was just proclaimed innocent. This is confusing. I think he's going back to his rich life, like would be in character for him. But he still acknowledges that Sonya's doing the right thing. That came out of nowhere just because she saved him. This episode only had Barnelby be a prisoner temporarily, just as I expected from a show that's terrified of changing the status quo. He's not a one-off character for some weird reason, so of course he's got Joker immunity, even though he's not a bad guy. It's not like it would have mattered if he joined the underground. He wouldn't do anything anyways. He was just arrested to be used as bait to lure Sonya to a trial room. But as usual, the robots were all destroyed because the heroes used their instruments, which Robotnik should really be expecting at this point. Maybe he can't steal their medallions. Because nothing got accomplished on either side when it came to the trap, it was all just a waste of time. They're evenly matched because his robots can't destroy the heroes, but the heroes aren't allowed to destroy Robotnik. On the bright side, the heroes destroyed the ruby mine, which he was using to make really good lasers. But while they did avoid lasers in their airships, they weren't the same lasers as the strong ones, and they had a pretty easy time, relatively speaking. I just don't understand why Robotnik personally showed up as the judge, other than, I guess he's the only one who can order the robots around, but I'm pretty sure Slee can do that too. Does he have to personally attend the court every single time someone is accused of treason? Or is it just when it happens in Robotropolis? It's probably that. Maybe it's rare enough that he... Well still, I hope this is the only time he does pointless trials like this, and it was only for the trap. Because I don't see why he'd waste his time with the trials instead of immediately roboticizing people, when he doesn't care about giving them any sort of defense. For all he knows, he could be roboticizing people who are innocent of the crimes that he's accusing them of, and robbing himself of rich people income. I still don't see why them being robots would make them incapable of funding him, by the way.